Greetings, this is Edward with sonsofgod.com, and it's May 23rd, Thursday afternoon. Greetings. We've been tracking on a couple of things that we want to share with you. We had intended to get a post earlier this week, but it just didn't seem to be the right timing. But we all know that there's really one focus that we're driving for, and that is to break the tape, to get through this transition, to manifest sonship, to move into resurrection life, which in truth is what will please the Lord. It will please the Lord that we break the tape. It will please the Lord that we break through, that we become one of a first wave, if you will, that move into the greater works, that move into the fulfillment of what the Scriptures speak of. And we haven't seen that up until this point. You know, you could look back in retrospect at the church age and the religious system, and we've seen how much they've gone off on so many tangents. And I don't know that they really ever had the ball to run with in the first place, to say that they would have dropped the ball. But there's no doubt that to those whom the Lord has spoken during these last days, the mantle does rest upon them to break this tape, to get through the transition that must come forth. It brings a number of thoughts to mind, but one of the things that we're constantly experiencing day in and day out has to do with this transition into the world of spirit. One thing that we need to understand is that all limitation is bound up in the physical world of the senses. But the minute you pass into the realm of spirit, everything changes. So we're agonizing, we're travailing, we're groaning to get out of the soul, the last vestiges where the soul has controlled. And as we do so, as we begin to break into the Spirit, I don't know that we have realized just what is happening when that takes place, because we literally are stepping into a world that has no limitation. We're becoming more and more aware that this age of the kingdom is an age of spirit world. As such, it's important that we keep in our radar the end goal here of what we're looking for, and that is the breakthrough into resurrection life, as momentous or as monumental as it may seem. That is exactly where the sons of God have been positioned. This is why each of you have been brought forth during this time, for this breakthrough, for this release. And there is no doubt in my mind that this is what the Lord is looking for. How often we think, like Paul says, I fought the good fight. I fought the good fight. I finished the course. He didn't let go. He pushed. And I know that in our hearts, it's like, Lord, may we not stray. May we not get distracted. May our legs not get heavy in this race. But may we complete the course to which we have been called. Paul completed the course that he was called to do in his time. In our time, it has to do with this final breakthrough of resurrection life as a people. I think more and more as we have been changing and our paradigms have been shifting, we've been realizing how locked into the world of senses we've been. To such an extent that what we see, what we hear, what impacts us or comes at us has had an unhealthy import into us, where we've responded to these stimuli as being real or as being valid. But we know that that is not the case. And the more we continue to break into the deeper realms of spirit, the more everything in our life is beginning to be redefined. We just came out of what was called the Feast of Pentecost, I believe last weekend, May 19th. Ann and I have not really been following the feasts that much anymore. We did follow them for a while, well, for a long time. Feast of Pentecost, Passover, Tabernacles. However, what we have found during this time, and I think most of you probably agree, is that we're at a time of the fruition or fulfillment of all those feasts being fulfilled in a people without measure. I'm not waiting until October of this year for Feast of Tabernacles for God to fulfill the massive indwelling of His presence. It's here now, and our contending before the Lord is here now. Pentecost and the empowering, it's here now. It was here 2 months ago. If we believe that it's tied, into a certain date, well then that will be our reality. But the truth is, all of it is here, all of it is available, and this is what we're breaking through into. A number of people have asked where we think we're positioned, or we've had, different ones share that they feel we're right here at the door that the Lord has been speaking. It's right here, it's right here, it's right here. And the only thing I can say is, He's been speaking that to us for over a year. It doesn't, and I don't mean to downplay what anyone is picking up or sensing during this time, because I absolutely agree. It is right now. It is right now. It is right now a year ago. It was. Why the breakthroughs didn't happen as I expected them at that time, that's between the Lord and myself, perhaps. But I do know that this is where we are, and this is the time that we've been brought to. There have been a lot of promises, a lot of visions, things the Lord has brought over the years concerning the transition. Literally going into a life that is going to be both visible and invisible. But it's interesting, reading some old notes concerning resurrection life. The reference is, resurrection life will be in existence in both the world unseen and the world seen, but without the vulnerability that we've had. Now, that vulnerability is not entirely tied into just a breakthrough of resurrection life, although it is, part and parcel together. But I believe the immunity that we have needed in the warfare, which has been, stronger and stronger, is tied into the renewing of the mind that's continuing to go on. Because in truth, I do not believe that any of God's sons are vulnerable. They do not have to be vulnerable. It no longer has to be in their paradigm of truth, because we are abundantly overcoming. We are the kings and priests of this age, and up until now we have accepted certain levels of lies that have come at us to get us to believe that we are vulnerable, that we can be effectually assaulted, and and that's been something that we've walked through and warred with. But I do believe that the time that we've come to now, and it's all like one set of dominoes, it's all tied together: resurrection life, immunity, judgment, the execution of so many of the promises. It's tied together almost like a domino. One domino goes down, and they're all going down. They're just going to go boom, boom, boom. They're all going down. But I know that the judgment of the Lord is here in the earth, which is in us. We've been bearing that judgment, and now we're beginning to speak the judgment. And we're seeing the commensurate signs and changes happening born out of the speaking of that word. So I know that what we seek is right here. The change of our vibration, the change of how we have walked before the Lord. the access to and fro, as First John would say, a whole new level of life and interaction as we become a people of spirit first and foremost, a people of the physical secondarily, but primarily a people of spirit. A whole new vista will begin to open up. Things that we've seen in the night hours over the years, relationships, connections, levels of interaction in the realm of the spirit that is just waiting for the first breakthrough of the sons. So I bless you. I wouldn't even know how to title this meditation. Visible, invisible, the breakthrough of sonship. We're right here at the door, any and all of the above. Ann and I send our blessings. Amen.